Well, many thanks for joining me on this important platform. My name indeed is Sammy Ofosuhene. You're live on Boxing Ghana TV and all the Boxing Ghana affiliate channels. And once again, this is Boxing Court. It's great to have you on this platform. And like I always say, when we sit on this platform, our main preoccupation is Ghana. And of course, we deal with matters that has to do with Ghana and Ghana boxing in general. Once again, you're very much welcome to the show. The show is actually Boxing Court. There's been some few changes to our, as it were, the setup, which I'm going to explain to you in a jiffy. Of course, now we have on board some few additions, which going forward we'll try and see how it goes, as it were. This is Boxing Court. We've done just about 2 months since our operations. We're trying to make sure we, as it were, position ourselves and set the goals and set the target for Ghana boxing. So when we sit on this platform, we become an authority. And well, I'm sure you get to know that as when things progresses. But once again, the show is interactive, so you can get interactive on my line on +1 815 302 5489. That's my WhatsApp line. You can also send me a message via that particular same line. And today happens to be your first time of watching the show. Don't worry at all. I'm just going to run you through the very synopsis of the show. First, we begin with news making the boxing world, where we talk about topical boxing issues that has to do with the world, Africa, Ghana. But you know that our main preoccupation is Ghana, so definitely it's much centered on Ghana. We do justice to it as well. Of course, my co-host Daniel Debicote today is on song, is here. He'll be helping me dissect the issues as well. Then as and when we get opportunity, we will actually hit into our very ember, talking about the main topic for the day, our main preoccupation, and that will be the GBA's AGM. Of course, the GBA actually stands for Ghana Boxing Authority, and they're about to have their AGM, annual general meeting. And we are being told some of the topical issues that will be on board. A typical example will be the constitutional review. And the opportunity has been created for people that have concerns, constitutional problems, issues that they think has to be surmounted to bring their grievances. Of course, last week we started part 1 of the show where we brought in Jingles, who is with Kabik Promotions. He came and of course, he also told us what he knew, though I thought most of his points were baseless. They were not founded and grounded, as it were. But opinions they say are like the noses, some sticky. I'm like, everybody's got one. Opinions are like the noses. Everybody's got one. You are just entitled to one. I would define opinions as the armpit. Some stinky, others fresh. Is a matter of personal hygiene. This show actually catches a lot of eyeballs. And if today happens to be your first time, just like, share for others to watch it. Tell a friend to tell a friend that Sammy Ofosuhene and Daniel Debicote are actually on air. And of course, we are about to do justice to the topic as well. We will be interviewing Alex Ntiamwabuachi, who will be our main man, as it were. He was actually part of the people that put the constitution together. I would even say that he wrote the constitution by himself with the help of J. Annan. So he'll be here to help us dissect the issues, like I said. So that will be in there. But of course, I'll have my editorial as well. The editorial will be part of this show going forward because I've been monitoring around, and there is this sense that not just sense, but people talking about so many things. I'm sure my editorial will come in between. I don't want to be doing all the talking. Like I said, the show is interactive, so get interactive on my line on +1 815 302 5489. Daniel Debicote is already on board, as you can see him right there and then. And I'm going to have an interaction with him right away. David, you are very much welcome to the show.
Sammy, thank you.
Well, let me just hit straight to main boxing topical issues. Of course, Joe Joyce recorded a very sweet victory over Joseph Parker. That was very interesting for me, especially the 9th round knockout. Many are comparing him to some of the boxing greats. People are saying that now he's actually carved a niche for himself, and that people in the elite divisions talking about Anthony Joshua, Tyson Fury, Deontay Wilder, and even the current champion Usyk must give him the opportunity, and that he's actually showed that he has stepped up his plate. Do you share that same sentiment? And how do you see the fight? Give me your general impressions.
I would say it was a good fight for Joseph Parker and Joe Joyce. Um, I see since Joseph Parker losing his WBO belt to Anthony Joshua, he has never been the Joseph Parker that we knew. Maybe Cornelius can also say that he's now getting stiff opposition. The only big win that he has got under his belt was when he defeated Andy Rios way back like 4 years ago in New Zealand. And since moving to UK to start picking up fights, though he has lost Sammy has won some, but he hasn't been the Joseph Parker that started his boxing career. That was all gun blazing when he was in New Zealand. But you cannot take anything away from Joe Joyce. He has proven that he's one of the early heavyweight boxers that you can count on. Now he has won the interim WBO heavyweight belt, and he's now the number one contender to challenge Usyk. So I think it was a comfortable win for Joe Joyce. He dominated Joseph Parker until he stopped him in round 11 with a powerful left hook. That tells you that British boxing, when it comes to heavyweight, they are now dominating, and yes, that has set a tone between um, Joe Joyce and Usyk, and it's going to be Frank Warren versus Eddie Hearn because these are the two biggest promotional outfits in the United Kingdom. Joe Joyce is with Frank Warren, whilst Usyk is with the Matchroom Boxing of from Eddie Hearn's outfit. So it is a good win for Joe Joyce, but as to whether he has the qualities to challenge for the world title against Usyk is another thing. But he's one of the finest British heavyweight boxers that they can boast of as of now. So for me, beating Joseph Parker for me wasn't a surprise. He deserves to win, and he has given out a rare indication that yes, when you mention heavyweight boxers currently, his name cannot be left out.
Well, indeed. Let's also shift our attention to that of America, where there was an interesting bout. Shakur Stevenson actually registering another sweet victory over Robin Conceição from Brazil. He was undefeated. The bout itself was pretty interesting. Of course, you had somebody who is very elite when it comes to amateur boxing. So you realize that he's not really added so much to his boxing style. Talking about Conceição, but at the end, he proved his mettle. He was able to, withstand all the rounds and went through the whole 12 rounds with Shakur Stevenson. First of all, how did the bout actually pan out for you watching from the screens?
Yeah, that is Shakur Stevens fighting in front of his in front of his home crowd fans, especially in New Jersey, Newark. Since he turned professional, this is the first fight that he has fought in front in his hometown. And prior to the fight, it wasn't a good news for Shakur Stevens. And as he lost his belt on the scale, he failed to make the 130 pounds. So prior to the bout, he has already lost his belt on the scale. But on the bout itself, Shakur Stevenson never allowed it to take a toll effect on him. He proved that he's the best 130 fighter, and on the day he displayed his qualities. Though his opponent is an Olympian who has won the gold medal before, and while Shakur Stevenson is an Olympian who is a silver medalist. So it was just a pure quality against um, let's say a rugged and a tough opponent from the Brazilian. But Shakur Stevenson beating down his opponent from round one, dropping him in round four. For me, after the body, I decided to move up to 135. So it's going to be another journey for Shakur Stevenson. But for me, I knew that though his opponent gave him a good run for his money, but it will always be Shakur Stevenson. He know how to stick his jab, he know how to move into angles, he know how to attack whenever he's pressing the gas. So it was a wonderful win for Shakur Stevenson because that is what his fans were expecting. That is what his promoters were expecting. And moving up to 135 is going to be a fire, especially you have the likes of John Kambosos at 135. You have the likes of Lomachenko at 135. Javonta Davis at 135. The current undisputed champion at 135. So for Shakur Stevenson, it was a good win for Shakur Stevenson to say goodbye at 130.
Well, indeed, it was a good win for Shakur Stevenson. I mean, how did you feel listening to some of the commentators talking about if now he's going to step up his plate, he's going to face the likes of Richard Comey, the likes of George Kambosos, the likes of the Ukrainian Lomachenko, and the rest. How did you feel being a Ghanaian? Were you that proud?
For I would say being a Ghanaian, I would say Shago Stevenson is like especially the Chicago is now at 140, and the only maybe a Ghanaian that he might face at 135 is maybe Manuel Tego. But the boxing style of Shakur Stevenson is very awkward, and he has got the qualities to beat any champion on 135 because his boxing style is like Floyd Mayweather. He will make sure that he beat you to the punch. He will make sure that he will hit you with the punch and make sure that you will not get opportunity to hit him. And many people have complained about how he boxes. Shakur Stevenson is not a real fighter. Shakur Stevenson is a real boxer, and you know how to win on point, irrespective of whether it's being a knockdown, knockout, or winning unanimous decision or majority decision. You know how to win on point, and he has the quality to beat any champion or any 135 pounder currently because he has got the quality and his boxing IQ is very, very high.
Okay, well, indeed, his boxing IQ is very, very high. We are also trying to connect through Alex Ntiamo Boache, who is migrated to talk to us, and so that we can proceed with our discussions. But let's come to the Ghanaian boxing fraternity, where we lost a very important person. Indeed, not many knows him, but I guess that you probably give us a little bit of history about him. Actually, he was one of our Olympic gold winning medalists, as it were. We are told that he just passed on just this weekend. That's a story from, I think, Boxing Ghana, written by Samuel Haywood Okine. And first of all, what did you make of that story? I'm trying to get this. I think he's a former bronze medal winner at the 1972 Summer Olympic Games. His name is Prince Amate. He passed on, that was, I think, 25th. He passed on 2 days ago, I should say.
Yeah,
First of all, condolences to the family, but what do you know about this particular boxer, David?
um, like looking at the age difference, he never grew up to watch him. Man. We read about him after Edibele Senior won Ghana's first medal. He became the third Ghanaian boxer to win a medal at the Olympic Games. And his passing, though his passing is a great loss, but it's more or less like a celebration of life. I would say many Ghanaian boxing lovers or many sporting fans never knew of this man, but he has written his name in the history books of Ghana when it comes to sport as well, being the third Ghanaian boxer to win a medal at the Olympic Games in 1972. So we have a condolence goes to his family, but he left a great legacy. But the big question is, what has the state, especially Ghana, what did Ghana do for this man when he was alive? These are some of the things that sometimes we have to talk about because these people put their life on their line just to project the sport in the country, and it has been passed. But I'm yet to see a communique from the sports Ministry of Sports. That tells you that even the sports minister even don't know of anybody called that with that name, but reading the history book, his name is definitely in the history book. So I'm here to see an official statement from the Ministry of Sports. Though maybe the Ghana Boxing Authority has issued theirs, but I'm here to see an official statement from the government sending their condolences to his family.
Okay, so my final bit on that will be, I mean, what are some of the things that you think states can do so that, in your opinion or estimation, you can say that they've done well for that particular boxer? What are the best practices that you see that you think we can emulate so that some of this your last utterances will be curtailed and probably we can all say that yes, they've also paid their due and the country has paid them back?
The only thing the country can do is especially it is the sports ministry that take care of sporting activity, and I think I stand to be corrected. I think the sports ministry has to get a sports fund that will cater for legends, legends who have paid their dues for the for the country, especially whenever they are retired or something. That fund that has been set aside can be used to take care of these legends. And for me, it is something that cannot be done in a day, but that needs a thorough discussion. And it's not only the sports ministry. I think certain laws or certain things are being outlined, especially it has to go to Parliament of Ghana for it to be activated. And I think getting the sports fund in order to take care of legends who have paid their uh, 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 who have paid their who have paid their time, who have shed a lot of tears trying to project the sport of Ghana. Getting the sport and that can help them will definitely encourage others to go all the way in order to die for the nation.
Okay, well, indeed, I guess your point is well noted. Just for Ghanaian interest, let's talk about our own Sarah Lotus Azari, and we are being told that she's scheduled to take an award from WISA, that's a Women in Sports Association, I should think so. Yes, and already she had an interview with CNN. She's been given an award for promoting women's sports. We are glad to say that she is part of the Boxing Ghana team, and she also writes for us. And we first of all, we want to say that congratulations to her. But David, what do you make of that news when you first heard it? Are you still with me? Your
Yes,
mic.
I'm.
Okay.
Can you repeat the question again?
Yes. So I was
Yes.
actually making references to our own Sarah Lotus Asari, whom we are told that is part of the 32 people shortlisted to take an award from WISA, that's Women in Sports Association, I should say. I should think so, yes. Already we know her exploits. She's been interviewed by CNN. She's been winning awards left, right, center. We know for a fact that she's a daughter of the current Ghana national team, Black Bombers, Coach Asari, and she's doing exploits. We are also glad to say that she's part of the Boxing Ghana team. She actually writes for boxingghana.com. So, but first of all, what would you want to say to her? I mean, we, as a general, we want to say that congratulations to her, but what you say to such an achievement, and what would you say to her before we proceed to our main topic for today?
You know, Sarah has been, I would say, she's following the footsteps of her dad, not as a coach, but like putting everything that she has got, showing a love for the sport, especially boxing. And since I've known her, she has never put put in a wrong foot. She's always on top of her game and getting work recognized by Wizard for me. It is a good achievement. The only thing I would tell her is you shouldn't be fully headed. You should keep focused. And I stand to because I stand to be correct now, but she's the only female reporter that I know in terms of boxing now. I stand to be corrected. The whole Ghana, she's only the female reporter that I've known.
There's a protege. There's another protege of Sammy here with Oka, and I think her name is Elizabeth
Yeah,
Alasan. She also writes as well for. She also
yeah,
writes stories, yeah.
good. So these are sometimes it's not though boxing is purely seen as men's sport, but the female is now taking boxing to another level in terms of even boxing in the ring. So if we will be having more female reporters projecting the sport, I think it's going to be a good omen. And for a work being recognized, I think, like I said, she shouldn't be swollen headed. She should keep on pushing, and the sky will be the limit for her.
Well, indeed, she should keep on pushing, and the sky will be the limit for her. Indeed, that's the words of Daniel David Corte. Like I said, the show is interactive. So get interactive on my platform. It's +1 815 302 5489. Once again, it's +1 815-302-5489. We are actually waiting on our guest, Alex Ntiamu to join the discussions very soon. But David, let me have your initial comments on the topic for today. We started last week, like I already espoused. We had Jingles, who is actually from Quebec and organizer for the Promoters Association. Of course, we had so many discussions centered around the constitutional stuffs. We talked about some of the things that we felt were unconstitutional. Of course, we deliberated on a few things here and there, but it's all centered on one thing. We needed somebody who was actually on top of the issues, somebody who was even part of the people that wrote the Constitution, somebody that we can say that he was actually the brain behind the Constitution and everything that has to do with, of course, with the help of another boxing astute personality in the person of Jayan. But GBA are about to hold their AGM. We are told that it doesn't really happen that often. First of all, let me have your initial comment. What do you think about the GBA and the AGM that they are about to hold? We are told that it will be a later part of this month. Let me have your initial comment before I rope in Alex. I think he's ready to join us. Yeah.
I mean, what I would say is, let me first of all send a shout out to the GB because it is something which is new when it comes to the boxing fraternity. And mostly the AGM is not like, it shouldn't be like a talk shop. Many people have their grievances with how boxing is currently being run. So this offers the biggest opportunity for people with grievances as to how they want things to be done, for them to let it out, and which will be penned down and which will be constitutionalized. And so I think it is a big opportunity for promoters, it's a big opportunity for matchmakers just to go in and set the rules that will help the progress of Ghana boxing. And for me, like I said, the likes of Alex Ntiamwa, the likes of Kabi Promotion, Ace Promotion, these are the promotional outfit that we can fall on. And these are people who have interest in boxing. These are people who have been investing their time and money in boxing. And having this agent will offer the platform for them to give especially things that they feel like it's not being done well. This opportunity for them to put their put their foot down so that the wrong can be corrected. It's not about like the AGM is not it shouldn't be about this person is not doing well, this person is doing well. They should have an holistic view about how Ghana boxing can be moved forward. And now, whenever they go for the AGM and the decision is not taken and they don't come to a common playground, uh, boxing is the only sport that is going to suffer. So I think they have to dialogue, look at the do's and the don'ts, look at the positives and the negatives, look at the pros and the cons, and see how they'll be able to pin everything down, how they'll be able to restructure the constitution. That's where to move Ghana boxing forward. Because the key point is Ghana boxing should progress. The key point is Ghana boxing should be seen as the maker when it comes to African boxing. So that should be the focal point.
Oleni, that should be the focal point. Ghana boxing is the ultimate. And of course, when we sit on this platform, our main preoccupation, the only agenda that we have is actually putting Ghana boxing on the map. And that's exactly what we're doing. That's why we have boxing court is here to make sure we do right by our own. Alex Ntiamu, I don't know where the feedback is from, but I hope that he made it. Alex, you very much ready. And I just hope that you is giving us feedback so that you can just watch us so that we can have an interaction. We have this feedback. Okay. So first of all,
First,
joining us on the
joining us on
platform,
the platform,
we have a very
we have a very
important topic
topic
that I know that
I know that
the sayers of
the
the
players of
game,
the game,
stakeholders are
students
each
are each
because for many they
for
see
many
you
they
as
see you
not just a
not
boxing
just a
column,
boxing
but you
column,
get a
you
brain
every
behind
time
the constitution of our constitution. I mean, we've had the
we've
days
had
where
the days where
there was
there was
nothing like that to that
nothing to
effect.
that effect.
Then we
Then
got to those
got
years
to
where
years where
Lawrence is forming the one at the helm of this. I think that
that
is
is
Remover always had to take a political intervention because some people felt that
some
he
people
was
thought that he was
authoritarian.
authoritarian,
But they say,
say,
history will be the
be
biggest
the
test
biggest
when it comes to
when it
certain
comes
things
to
like
certain
this. And
things.
it's all
And it's all
after lawyer
after
Moses
lawyer
formed,
notice form,
we've had
we've had
lawyer
lawyer
but before that,
that
we had
we had
constitution there, which
the
brought
which
about
brought about
the necessity of us having a
two of us having a
constitution to guide the progress of the
the
organization,
progress of the organization,
which called into
which
mind
called
into the frame of affairs
of
as to
affairs
people like
as
yourself
people like yourself
and the likes of Day and
the
we
likes
know
of
for a
day
fact
and
that
look for a fact that
this was actually put together by
put
yourself
together by yourself.
and Day.
And
So we
so
called you to know that
you know that
you probably know the
probably know
constitution. Now,
now
the GBA is going
who is
into
going
their AGM. Let me have your
let me have
your
your
initial
initial
comments on the
on the
GBA's
GBA
very much
very much
that are of concern to all of us.
all of us
We can review and analyze some of the aspects of the constitution that needs to be reviewed, or whether or not we think that
we think that
solid and that
that
it should not be touched at all. So let me just have your initial
just have your
comment.
initial
Once again, let me tell my viewers,
viewers
wherever you're watching us,
watching us
the message I would love to read it out there. This show is interactive, so get interactive on my platform, on whichever social media platform that you're watching us today. We're going to be doing less talking. Alex will do everything, as I've already told you, and that's how the show is going to be run. We've had to take Alex back because you can hear the feedback. We can actually listen to ourselves. So we're trying to get him right back as well, so that we can fix that technical challenge in no time. But Daniel Debikote, let me have your bits on some of the aspects of the Constitution. First of all, there was an issue that was brought or raised yesterday, last week. I must say, yes, it was raised last week, and that was the fact that in the Constitution it's been written that an 8 weeks notification, which is 2 months, must be given before what do you call it, the AGM comes to effect. We know that the AGM hasn't been held for some time now. We do not know whether stakeholders were consulted. The only one that we have on record is Ace Promotions, who were saying that they were not told. But we all know for a fact that when you join an association in a body of, let's say, the Promoters Association, definitely when the heads of the promotion or the heads of that association have been informed, it's like a collective responsibility. It goes to foretell everybody. But like I said, today I will not be doing the talking. It will be my guest. I would definitely want to hear from them what they think. Today we're going to ascertain some aspects that we need clarified, and some of the portions that we think must be rectified with regards to the Constitution. If it doesn't need any review, it doesn't need any ratification whatsoever, we'll also talk about it right here. So that's what we're going to be doing. And we still have Alex here. I will need to rope him in right away in no time. But just to tell you what happened last week. Yes. So last week we had jingles. We also had the boxing doc, who is with Ace Television, and there were a lot of issues that were raised. For instance, issues of conflict of interest, issues of the fact that certain promotional outfits are enjoying some sort of monopoly as against that of others, and they felt it wasn't warranted. They felt Martin was run differently as compared to the current one, which is the Deluxe Professional Boxing League. I must say that I started to disagree in a way, but like I said, opinions are like the MP, some stinky, others freshy. Is a matter of personal hygiene. But today or tonight, as in Ghana, and this afternoon in the USA, we're going to do justice to the topic. Let me just rope in Alex pretty very soon. I guess we have Alex. Do we have you, Alex, in Tiamwa?
Yeah, I'm on.
Okay, great to have you. Now, Alex, first of all, I need your general comment on the AGM that is just about to be held. Let me have your general comment, then we'll go into the very issues that confront us.
Actually, I don't think AGM is going to happen because it's not in line with the constitution of the Ghana Boxing Authority. And if I'm saying so, I'm not saying so on my own authority. I'm saying so based on the constitution that guides the administration of professional boxing in Ghana, which is the constitution of the Ghana Boxing Authority. So, because the notification, first and foremost, is not in line with the provisions of the constitution.
Okay, so that's Alex Ntiamwa with his initial comments. Now, my second question will be that in a situation where a certain clauses in the constitution has been violated, I should believe that in order to stop it, there has to be a remedy that's going to the court. Are we talking about going to the court?
No, boxing has got the executive board and the stakeholders. And the executive board are answerable to the stakeholders. Congress is the highest decision-making platform of the Ghana Boxing Authority, of which the stakeholders have equal rights to speak and to vote on issues. But like I said, there are procedures of calling for AGM. And yes, every year we should have AGM. But to call AGM, there are procedures. Like I said, the Article 4.6 II of the Constitution of the Ghana Boxing Authority stipulates or states clearly that notice should be given at least 8 weeks prior to the AGC, that is the Annual General Congress. So first and foremost, the notification time is not in line with the Constitution, so it's not involved. So it's a non-starter.
Okay, so now I'll read the article, and it says Article 4.6 is actually a notice of Congress, and it talks about the authority shall hold an annual general Congress during the month of May in each year or such other time as may be determined by the General Congress. Now, the II says notice shall be sent at least 8 weeks before the dates fixed for such Congress, and it talks about the III talks about all members of the authority, including the regions, have the right to attend, speak, vote at the AGM unless disqualified from doing so by. So basically, that's where Alex Ntiamwa is quoting it from. But in a situation, and once again, I'll preempt that in a situation that you trigger this, and I know that that was raised last week, which we talked about, and I was suggesting that anything that can remedy a constitutional violation will be going to the court, because I believe that the executives, I don't know, but you are in the fraternity. Tell me, has there been any discussions to this effect? And when you speak on authority that is not going to be held, on what grounds do you say it? Are you guys visiting the courts? Because I know that's the best remedy to cure this mischief. Yeah.
The courts are there, yes, to settle matters amicably. And so if there should be a wait for that, fine, that will happen. But for now, as I'm saying, boxing has got stakeholders, and all the stakeholder groups have decided that it's not happening. And so we've written to the executive board of the Ghana Boxing Authority to on that. Secondly, we've written to them that we want to have a stakeholder discussions towards the next AGC, that's the Annual General Congress. And the discussions will be based on the procedures for calling for AGC. And you know, this AGC that they gave notification was based on the review and amendments of the Constitution. For review and amendments of Constitution, there is a procedure that is spelled out clearly in the Constitution, and that must be followed. If there should be a proposal for amendments, the proposer should write at least 30 days to the GBA Secretariat, and then notification will be given for people to have understanding about what kind of proposal has been given, and then we can have some foreknowledge about what is going to happen before you can go to Congress. So there is a lot of things that need to be done. And you know, for proposals for amendments, the proposer should have his name, address, and should give explanation of the reason why they want to do the amendment. So that is a procedure that you have to go through before you can come out with even a proposal for amendments. But you can't just wake up, write a letter to people, to stakeholders. We are going to Congress, and is going to be reviewing amendment of the Constitution. And even when it comes to notification, we are stakeholders, so when something happens, we check from other stakeholder groups to see what is going on. We have the Promoters Association, we have the Managers Association, we have the Coaches, United Boxing Coaches Association of Ghana, we have the Ring Officials Association, and then we have Boxers Association, also the clubs, and then the regions. We have the past presidents of the Ghana Boxing Authority who are also members of Congress. And most of these people have not been notified, especially at the clubs. Giving a letter to the United Boxing Coaches Association that's not, you cannot assume that giving a letter to the United Boxing Coaches Association intends serving all the clubs. The clubs are individuals. The clubs are individuals, and then you need to notify all the clubs and the former presidents who are members of Congress, former and current world champions, if we have, they also part of Congress. The regions, they are also part of Congress. So these people, all of them, you need to notify them before you can call for AGC. And there is a lot of things to be done before we can. And that's the reason why we want to have the stakeholders meeting before, so that we can discuss about all these things before the date for the AGC can be set. You know,
so let's know this before you go for it. When was your outfit informed about this AGM, and so that we can make progress, we can know whether or not the 8 weeks notification was actually satisfied or not? When was your platform and yourself informed about this AGM?
Can you come again, please?
Okay, so I'm actually asking so that we can situate it well and know that indeed the authority has more or less like usurped its powers, or probably abrogated some aspect of the Constitution. We want to know when your outfit and yourself were informed about this AGM.
Okay, the first letter that we received was on the 9th, the date on the letter was on the 7th of September, so it's more or less like 3 weeks. But it was addressed to my association as Promoters and Managers Association. And you know, per the Constitution, we have Promoters Association differently from the Managers Association. So as we send a copy to the Managers Association, they wrote to the GBA for the GBA to address the two letters separately. And that letter came in on the 14th of September. So basically, if we are even to go by the 7th of September, then still it falls short of the provision of the notice before Congress, which stipulates that we get 8 weeks. And it's just 3 weeks. From 7th to 28th is just 3 weeks. And so you still you have lost time of 5 weeks that need to that needs to be addressed.
Okay. Now let me ask you this. So in this case, can you speak on authority here and now that or bet I think possibly what I should ask is what have you done as it were in the regard of making sure that this unconstitutionality is not actually should not go unperturbed, or probably what have you done in that regard to make sure that the procedures are actually followed so that
Okay, like I said, we've written to the GBA, not only my association that I'm leading, which is the Promoters Association, but about 6 stakeholder group, Promoters Associations, Managers Association, Ring Officials Association, United Boxing Coaches Association, Ring Officials Association, as well as the Boxers Association. 6 stakeholder groups. We've written a letter to the GBA that we want to meet the executive board on Tuesday, which is 27th of September, to discuss about the procedures for calling Congress and procedures for coming up with a review and an amendment of the Constitution and other matters relating to AGC.
Great. So, and what has been the feedback from the GBA?
For me, I don't know how to go about it, but the Managers Association, the president of the Managers Association, who happens to be Alhaji Moshood Zaid, called me and informed me that the GBA has agreed for the meeting on Tuesday. But then and again, we are running and we have an administration whereby I don't know what is happening, of which if a letter has been written, an association like the Ghana Boxing Authority, there should be a response in writing, not just a telephone call. So I don't know what is happening there, but we are hoping that Tuesday there will be the stakeholder meeting for us to discuss what we're supposed to do.
Can we have you state on fact that you guys are meeting on Tuesday and that meeting will go bearing any changes? That meeting is going to be held. Can we have it from you? Can you say it on authority that the meeting is going to be held on Tuesday to bring this issues to bed? I think I probably may have lost Alex there. We're still trying to establish connection with Alex Ntiamwabuachi. He's actually the president for Ghana Boxing Promotion. You also know him from CEO and Bankroll Box Office Sports Promotion as well. So he's an astute personality when it comes to Ghana Boxing. He's been there for so many years. He's helped with the constitutionalism and constitutionality of the Ghana Boxing Authority. He's been part of the people that actually were chosen to write the Constitution. He was the brain behind the writing of the Constitution with the help of an astute boxing guru as well, person of JN. Alex, do I still have you on my line? Alex, do I still have you on my line?
Hello?
Yeah, do I still have you on my line? Okay, so now, Alex, this is what I want to know from you. Procedurally, apart from the fact that an 8 weeks notification must be given before an election is held. Yes, I've gone through the Constitution severally, but you tell me, because I know you are actually the brain behind the person that wrote the Constitution. What should have been the procedure before a meeting like this is held? Walk us through that. Okay, I'm gonna try and rope in Alex pretty very soon. I think we lost him on the other line, so we are trying to reestablish connection right there. Okay, so Alex, procedurally, what should have been the procedure for this particular meeting? What should have been the way we know for a fact, apart from the fact that we know that you need at least an 8 week notification, which is 2 weeks. What should have been the procedure for this particular?
I'm not the one to tell you. The Ghana Boxing Authority is there. They have the Constitution, a copy of the Constitution, and there is, as you have the copy, you have read it, and you know there are procedures that needs to be followed. Like I said, first and foremost, you need to give notification for 8 weeks, because the reason for that notification is there will be a Congress deals with reports from the board, what they have done so far. They render accounts to stakeholders. It's also give information on the reports of committees. It's also serves as a platform for discussion, for resolutions to be passed, maybe certain things that certain stakeholder groups want to discuss, or that resolution to be passed to guide the board for the next within the next 1 year. So in this case, you need ample time for people to, think about it. Some people can send their proposals to the people. Some people will send their proposal to the GBA secretary, which notification will be given to states. Anything big that we need to take time to do it. So they know it. I don't know why in a rush. I don't know why the letter that came, the GBA has indicated that the top of the agenda, even the GBA asking in the agenda to discuss is that who a manager is, who is a promoter, who is a guardian. And GBA has rules that are spelled things clearly. And at this time, asking of these questions, where are these questions coming from? And who is asking these questions?
Okay, I guess.
And one thing you need to understand is the function. The secretariat is being headed by the Secretary General, and the notification is not even coming from the Secretary General, coming from the President, of which is not in line with the procedures of the calling for AGC. Let me tell you this. AGC acts as a platform of electing leaders to come to in the election.
We are struggling to get your connection right. But okay, so Alex, let me ask this: Do you have do we have an authority that we still have a Secretary General who is running, as it were, the association as the Constitution stipulates? We have.
Can you come again?
Do we have a Secretary General as stipulated in the Constitution? So that we can say that probably the Secretary General is not doing his job. Do we have a Secretary General as we speak now? Do we?
Yes, of course, we have Solomon Graham. Also, is the acting Secretary General there, and the day-to-day affairs of the position is the Secretary General who has to run the day-to-day. That is our constitution. And there are certain things that people do not understand the background of some of the provisions of the constitution. If you have a copy of the LI, which is the sports regulations,
Yes, I do.
it has put out it clearly that every sports association that is affiliated to an international sports association should have its association that is affiliated to. And you can go and check on the Commonwealth. Ghana Boxing Authority is affiliated to the Commonwealth, and it spelled out clearly that the honorary secretary and the assistant secretary are people has been delegated with substantial authority and responsibility to run the day-to-day affairs of the organization. So basically, it's a law requirement that we do things in accordance with the international associations or bodies that we are affiliated to.
Okay. Now,
and also it's for checks and balances that there should be somebody running the place. There should be somebody who is higher than him. That when there is a situation, you can call it into order. So today, if the president is running the day-to-day affairs of the place, and there is an issue, who can call the president to order?
I ask you a question. Do we have a secretary general as we speak?
Yes, we do have.
Can you give me the name of that secretary general?
You say?
Can you give me the name of the secretary general?
It's Solomon Graham.
Okay. Now, per what our checks, we are told that the secretary general was actually elected or put in place by the GBA outfit. Is that correct?
Hello?
Yes. Was the secretary general put in office by the GBA outfit?
You said that is the secretary do what?
The secretary general whom you mentioned as Solomon Grant, was he put in office by the current GBA?
You know, per the constitution, the secretary generals are being appointed by the National Sports Authority.
So
in consultation with the Ghana Boxing Authority. In consultation with the board of the Ghana Boxing Authority.
What was that? What happened? Byzantium, are you able to hear me? I guess we've lost Alex there. There are some few questions we would like to find out. We'd like to inquire. Like I said, I actually wanted to get some communications from the GBA outfit, but you know, just like I agreed with my guest, it was going to be him and him only, with us trying to understand the issues. You know, I have decided not to go to some aspects and portions of the Constitution that probably might need to be looked at again, because he's raised a very important, you know, procedural issue. And when there are procedural issues, you can't leapfrog that to talk about the matters, as it were. The procedures must be followed. And here on Boxing Court, we try as much as possible to align ourselves with things like that. Just like I said, last week we raised all these issues, and we needed somebody who with an authority. And Alex Ntiamwa, whether you like it or not, is an authority, because if for nothing at all, he's actually the president for the Ghana Boxing Promoters Association, and he speaks for them. We had one of the body members saying that he's not been told about the AGM, which I thought in a way, so long as your president knows, it trickles down. It's a collective responsibility. So then that wouldn't be the fault of the GBA, as it were. But if there are some constitutional issues that were not followed, typical example, the 8 weeks notification, which is like 2 months before Congress can be held. That means it gives stakeholders ample time, wherever you are, to be able to make the date and actually get yourself ready for the Congress. So I guess that's a very important point. Procedural issues have been raised indeed, and I think that that's what we're going to do here on Boxing Court. Like I said, I won't be doing all the talking, so you can also join the platform on whichever social media platform that you're watching me. Just leave a message there and I'll read it. or send messages through my line on +1 815 302 5489. I have some few messages here which I would like to read out. This one is saying that, well, it's good that you brought Alex in Tiamwa. Alex is speaking to facts. What I want to know is why the previous Secretary General was demoted. That's by you, Charles. I also have this one here that says that, okay, Sammy, I like the show. I would have preferred for you to have brought in somebody from the GBA so that we would have had a very balanced discussions. Like I said, that was a initial agreement. But of course, my guest and I agreed that we are actually going to have him talk about those issues. And I think it's only fair. I think that's the next time I'll probably bring the GBA outfit alone to come and answer to it. But the most important thing is that both stakeholders or all the stakeholders have actually scheduled a meeting, according to the words of Alex Ntiamwabuachi, that they are going to meet on Tuesday. So perhaps by Tuesday, we should know how things went and whether or not the date has been changed, and then whether or not this time the procedures have been followed to that effect, so that we can have one unison organization, as it were, and we can see the progress of Ghana boxing. So that's what we're looking at. Like I said, when we sit here, our main preoccupation, the agenda that we have, is the promotion of Ghana boxing and nothing more. And so Alex is back on the line again. Alex, I was actually asking you whether or not the current Secretary General, whom you call Mr. Grant, yes, where those
Graham Ofori.
Okay, so Solomon Graham Ofori, we are told, yeah. So where was the procedures followed in bringing him to office?
I'm not of the Ghana Boxing Authority executive board, so I don't know. But when you go to the Ghana Boxing Authority, the secretariat, the secretary is there who is from the National Sports Authority, and he is the acting secretary general. This is not the first time we are seeing acting secretary. There have been some acting secretary there. Past secretary general, immediate past, who is Patrick Johnson, was one time acting secretary general before it was the substantive secretary general. So there's acting secretary general there who's supposed to be in charge, but I don't know what is happening.
So you do recognize the acting secretary general, is that the case? And since you're a person of constitutional and legal instrument person, I should believe that you probably checked to make sure that the secretary general was equally also elected through the legal constitutional means as stipulated in the constitution.
Elected. They are appointed by the National Sports Authority.
Don't worry about the words here. My choice of words probably may not go as so. Was that appointment done by the Ghana Authority, and was the procedures followed, as it were?
Can you give me the opportunity to talk when you give me the question?
Well, I was trying to rephrase the question because you made a certain allusion to my choice of words, and I just decided to make that point of information and correction, as it were. But of course, you can go ahead and make your submissions.
Yeah. It's relevant that you talk about that being used. What I was saying, we have Solomon Graham Ofori, who is at the secretariat. When you go there, he receives your letters and he responds the letters in terms of I'll get this done, I'll get this done. But when you want the letters, he'll tell you that I'm waiting on president to sign. I'm waiting on president to sign. But he received the letter and he is the acting secretary general. As per my information, and it's from the National Sports Authority.
Okay, that's sound. At least you've given us certain background to it, that he was duly elected or appointed procedurally, and that all constitutional means were followed. So the
procedure is very simple. The Secretary Generals are being appointed by the National Sports Authority in consultation with the Ghana Boxing Authority Executive Board. And as far as the person is there, of which he has been sitting in executive board meetings, if it's not given by the National Sports Authority and has not been accepted by the Ghana Boxing Authority Executive Board, what will he be doing in those meetings?
We can only ask the questions just like that, so that people like yourself who are privy to certain things we are not, definitely will fill us in terms of information.
And
but
that
let me
is the reason why I said some of the questions you can direct to the Ghana Boxing Authority, the board members, or the PRO of the Ghana Boxing Authority.
Yes, that's true. But you and I agreed that the person who was coming, the portfolio, as it were, is not in consonance with what the Constitution stipulates. Of course, I have questions when it comes to the Constitution, but like I said,
do you have what the Constitution is saying about appointing Secretary General?
No, I am not going to talk about second. I'm not going to narrow it down. Like I said, there are,
and that's what I'm telling you, that the Constitution specifies that it's that
Secretary
office.
General is basically the one who is supposed to run the daily affairs of the organization. We know all that. I'm not even talking about that. I'm just saying that.
What I'm saying is the appointment is being done by the National Sports Authority in consultation with the Ghana Boxing Authority Executive Board. And
yes,
the person is at the secretariat now today, and I've been to certain meetings of the Ghana Boxing Authority, of which the executives are there, and he is the one in charge in terms of receiving.
You are not getting the grasp of my question. I think that you probably just setting your own question.
Can you clarify the what do you have information
so
that he was not appointed in line with the laid down procedures? Do you have some information on that?
No, we are not even talking about that. I was only asking you a question to that effect.
And I'm telling you, asked me, and I'm telling you that is the case.
Alex, can you
if
just
you know anything different, let me know.
We can have a fruitful discussion. It seems like you're already fired up for some reasons, or I probably don't know. But if you take your time, you realize that this dialogue, as it were, that we are having is a bit cordial, and we're just trying to get to the same point. As it were, like make sure things are followed rightly. So just hold your bit, take your time, just calm down. If you like, take some water, and that would be great. But okay, so what I'm asking is, we've passed through that process where I ask you whether or not, because I wanted to be sure that his appointment has been legitimized by all and sundry, i.e. yourself and in other stakeholders. That was the genesis of the question. So don't read meanings into the questions. I asked a question based on the surface. Perhaps if you wanted me to give you the background to why I was asking those questions, I probably would have done so. So don't get carried away. I don't know what you were thinking, but anyway, that's okay. Now, what I want to know going forward is, so as we speak now after the meeting, if you guys reach a conclusion that going forward, maybe the date has to be changed, or as it were, if you guys judge and there is a resolution to that effect, then we are sure the AGM will come on, probably say next month or next 2 months. Do we have that? Is that what is in line? Okay, you didn't hear me. Okay, so this is what I'm saying. Like, okay, so far, according to yourself, you just told us. Yes, I can hear you. Can you
hear me?
Yes, I'm going to repeat the question again.
Let me ask you a question before we continue. Are you satisfied with my answer to the Secretary General?
Of course, if I wasn't, I definitely would not have even, I would still have pushed you to
okay, then you can continue with your questions.
Exactly. So yes, going forward. Now, what I'm asking is, so the agenda on the table coming Tuesday will be to tell the GB or the outfit to go back and possibly change the date. Is that it? So when the date is changed, then definitely we know that we have a new date set for AGM and Congress as well. Is that the case?
Yes, that's the case.
Well, indeed. I guess we have it there. But I really did not want to go into some aspect of the constitution. But educate me on, since we've established that fact and we know that on Tuesday stakeholders are going to meet and possibly there will be a new date set or there will be some kind of an agreement of a sort. I'll leave those matters here. But what I want to know is, you know, people like Carl Loco. I want to know. He's a GBA according to the constitution. He's a GBA official, right? He's part of those executives. Is that the case? I think I've lost Alex once again. Okay, so I'm asking this question based on the fact that I have heard things like this person.
Can you go over the question again?
Okay, so what I want to know is, I've heard things like, and I don't see that in the constitution. I see things like someone is the deputy technical director of the GBA, and I look through the whole constitution. I don't see anything like that. I see things like somebody, to be able to join the association, you must be 18 years and above, and all that. And sometimes I ask myself, so if a boxer is say 17 years, does it mean that boxer can't join the association? And do you have boxers who are less than that age? But I'm sure that first of all, what I want to know is there
okay,
any
let me quickly explain this thing to you.
Okay, explain to educate me, as a matter of fact. Yeah.
Okay, let me explain to you. Are you ready to listen to my answer, please?
Definitely, I'm all ears. Trust.
Okay, if there are certain portions of the constitution that maybe somebody is reading and is not understanding, he needs to ask clarification from people who have been through all the how do you call it, the congresses since the institution since the time of promulgating the first constitution, to ask questions about it for clarification or something. There is a portion in it that for licensing. Licensing, a boxer may be issued, can be issued with a license with the age of 16 years. That's the minimum age that you can start boxing as a professional and to be given a license. But to be a member of the association, you need to be 18 years and above. Let me explain it.
So you can be a boxer and not be, as it were, part of the association. Is that the?
You can be a boxer to have a license, but you are not member when it comes to the GBA. The whole thing is this. Members are people who qualifies to attend AGM
and vote as well.
And so the person must be 18 years and above. So if we have, let's say, Boxers Association, Boxers Association can have their members. There can be a boxer who is 16 years, but it's not qualified to. He can be a member within the association, but representing at the AGM, he cannot. Only those who are 18 years and above are the people who can be. You can be 16 years and be a Ghanaian, but if you are not 18 years now, you are not qualified as a voter to decide on matters of electing presidents in Ghana. And that is the same thing with the GBA constitution. You can be 16 years and be a boxer, but if you are not 18 years, you are not qualified to go to AGM to make decisions. So the difference is membership is 18 years and above. Licensee, you can have a license as a boxer from the age of 16 years. So that is the difference.
Is that a fair, as it were, assessment of things, especially because you know that the boxer also becomes a stakeholder, and if that boxer is not given a platform, as it were.
Yeah, that's what I have explained, that those who are under 18 years in Ghana, they are Ghanaians, but they are not being given the opportunity when we are choosing our president. Is it fair that people can be from the ages of 14, 13, 12, and they are Ghanaians, and they are not given the opportunity?
Well, I guess that's a good question, but let's look at it this way.
And that is it. You know, the fairness, the boxer is there, is 16 years. He will be fighting, and he's not fighting just one fight and go away. He'll be there fighting, and he will turn 18 years, and he will have the opportunity to make decisions. So it's the same thing. We Ghanaians, we have people who are less than 18 years, but there will be a time that they will have the opportunity to make decisions in terms of voting for a leadership. So that is how it is. Do you think there is any problem with it?
So in that case, no, I really want to understand some aspects
And
of it.
you know,
Like I said, I really don't want to.
even let me explain this further. Even the positions of the board, the person must be 21 years and above before he can contest for any position when it comes to a board membership.
As for that, I don't have issues with it.
But you have issues. You have issues of a boxer being licensed at the age of 16, but he cannot make decisions.
I guess that I was trying to see the fairness of it. You know, Max's law of equity actually stipulates that.
Can you apply Max's law of equity to citizens of Ghana who are below the ages of 18 years, not being granted the opportunity to have a franchise to
but
vote?
In this case, Alex, if I am a stock owner, if I am actually into a business which I have affiliated myself into a certain setup, let's say in a typical situation like stocks, would it be fair to say that because I have not attained a certain age, meanwhile I am dealing in these particular stocks based on my capacity, not only as a boxer, but also my interest, paying bills, paying my percentage pays, would it be fair to take me out of decision making? I guess that will leave heroes out there. Like I said,
Let me tell you. You know, I have told you that apart from we having
good. But let's make certain progress. Is there any, because I've looked through the constitution, I don't see anything like deputy technical director of the GBA. Is it something that probably I'm refusing to see, or there's nothing like that in there?
There is nothing like technical deputy technical director. There is nothing like deputy PRO in the constitution.
Okay, so on authority, I say it here, henceforth, any other person that calls himself the deputy technical director, and I don't want to mention names, you probably do not have any portfolio to that effect. There is nothing like technical director in that constitution, so let that be clear. Now,
there is a technical director. There is a position for technical director.
There is a technical director. We are talking about the deputy technical director.
Yes, there is nothing like that.
Calls themselves.
There is nothing like that.
Director.
The same as there is no deputy PRO.
Okay. So that's okay. Now, there are aspects that so we done 315. I'm told, yes. Now, Alex, you were part of the people that wrote the constitution. You actually were the one that wrote the constitution. Do you think that there are aspects of the constitution that needs amendment?
Do I think what?
There are aspects of the constitution that needs amendment.
For me, for now, I've not seen anything that needs to be amended for now. But you know, that doesn't mean if I've not seen anything to be amended, nobody should see anything to be amended. We are stakeholders. People have liberty to propose amendments, and when we go to Congress and it's passed, so be it. That will be the document that will guide all of us.
Okay. Now let me ask you this: what do you say to people, proponents that says that the 5% fee must be scrapped off?
The 5% first percentage paid to the GBA.
Paid to the GBA must be scrapped off.
No, I don't support that. When boxers fight locally, they pay 5% out of their purse to the Ghana Boxing Authority. When they travel, the percentage is 2%.
Oh, so when they travel, they are also supposed to pay some percentage to the GBA. Is that the
Yes.
case?
When you travel and go and fight, you're supposed to pay percentage to the GBA. If
So what you say
you
to
are licensed by
what you
the
say,
Ghana Boxing Authority, so
what you
it's
say to
not
other
only
boxers and people that says that they can't pay or they won't pay because they are paying it to other as it were bodies.
okay. Let me explain to you.
Okay.
If you are fighting on the license of the Ghana Boxing Authority,
Mm-hmm.
irrespective of nationality you are, you owe it a duty or a responsibility to pay to the Ghana Boxing Authority a percentage. If you are fighting outside the jurisdiction of the Ghana Boxing Authority, it's 2%. If you are fighting within the jurisdiction, it's 5%. If you are licensed by the Ghana Boxing Authority and you are fighting on the license of the Ghana Boxing Authority,
Mm-hmm.
so we have boxers here who are from outside. We have Laurent Jaffet. He fought for West African Championship last week
Yeah.
and he won. He's fighting with the Ghana Boxing Authority. He's based here and he's fighting on the license of the Ghana Boxing Authority. He pays his percentage, first percentage to the Ghana Boxing Authority. We have a boxer like Ashley Tuifan. One time had a license.
So Alex, let me get this. Does it mean that in that law there is an exception? Is that what you're saying?
There is no exception. The only exception is when you go to the United States, and you are there, and you cannot use your license that you have from anywhere in the world to fight in the US. You need to acquire a license from the state of which you are fighting at,
So there's an
and
exception
based on
when it
that,
comes to the
you need
United
to
States.
pay tax.
So indeed there is an exception when it comes to the United States. Is that not so?
Yes, the exception per the law, I will not say it's an exception. If you are fighting without the license of the Ghana Boxing Authority, that means you don't have to pay for the percentage to them. If you are licensed with the Ghana Boxing Authority and you are fighting, you need to have a release letter from the Ghana Boxing Authority to fight on. And based on that release letter, you have to come and pay the percentage to the Ghana Boxing Authority.
So let me get this straight. At what point in time? So okay, let's get this. There's an exception when it comes to the USA, or there is a caveat even within that exception. Is that what you're saying?
Okay,
So
the whole thing is
this confusion too.
it's not confusion. You need to have your laws to be reciprocal, because boxers fighting from the US, when there is a boxer from the US coming to fight here in Ghana, he cannot carry his US license to this place. No boxing commission from the US will give him a release letter to come and fight here in Ghana. They don't do that. So when they come to Ghana, they need to be licensed, and our laws must be applied to them, because that is how it is. When you go there, you need to be licensed. I had a boxer fighting against Ibrahim Tabu. He was from US. He came here to fight. He was licensed,
I remember him.
and after the fight, he paid for a percentage per year.
So in this regards, you said when it comes to the USA, that one you need a different license. So for some of us who sit at the back, that means with the US there is an exception. So it depends on the boxer who will decide whether or not. Typical example, what Isaac Dobe did to decide whether or not he wants to give it, because as it were, the person is already
Yes.
committing himself when it comes to paying those monies. He's already paying to the US body, whether it's Nevada or whatever. The person is.
Let me explain this thing to you very simple.
Mhm.
We have had boxers coming from the UK, acquiring Ghanaian license and fighting on the Ghanaian license.
Yes.
They are paying the percentage to us and not to the British Boxing Board of Control. And they have no qualms with the British Boxing Board of Control if they decide to get a license from the British Boxing Board of Control to fight in the UK, they don't have any grounds. If they leave that and they go elsewhere to acquire those licenses there to fight, they don't have any problem with it. So basically the boxing commissions are not there to make monies from the boxers at all costs, but they are there to regulate, and they are within their regulations. If you are within their jurisdiction, whatever needs to be paid to them, you have to do that. If you go out and they are giving you a release because those jurisdictions or the commissions requires that your mother country or where you are coming from, you need to get a license before you can fight in their jurisdictions, and you need to get a clearance, which is the release letter, before you fight. Then you owe it a duty to go and pay to the licensing country or the licensing commission. That is how it is.
So let me get this in a typical example, because the messages I'm getting is virtually the same thing. So I'm trying for us to get that understanding. So in a typical example, when someone from Ghana is going to fight in the USA, the possibility of the person paying that percentage pays to the GBA is big, as against somebody who is already, as it were, resident in the USA. Is that the case?
What I'm saying is this: no matter what, if you are licensed by the Ghana Boxing Authority or whatever commission around the world, even if you are licensed in Nevada, Nevada, and you've been licensed by the Nevada Athletic Commission, and you are moving to New York, you still need to get the license from New York. You are not going to fight with your Nevada State Athletic Commission's license. You can't fight with it. So you need to be licensed at the state that you are going to fight. And based on that, is that license that you are fighting with, and you are paying. Let me explain this simple for you. And you are there, you know boxing, you understand. Boxers that sign contracts conventionally is 30%, 33.33%. Some managers can do less than that. But let's assume that a boxer is being managed and the manager is taking 33.33% or 33%. Fighting in the US is paying federal tax for about 30%, and then paying trainer 10%. 30, 33, and 10 is 73. That means the boxer is getting only 27%. And if the boxer is previously licensed or is as his own country also taxing him, I don't think it's fair on the boxer. But the whole thing is, it does not apply to them because they did not fight. They are not fighting on their mother commission's license, and so the license on which they fought is where they are going to pay. So when they come and there is a discussion from the Ghana Boxing Authority that, oh, you've gone to fight, you've made some money, we want you to support Ghana Boxing, and you need to come and do something for us. Yes, the boxer can decide, oh, no problem, I want to do it. Or maybe I want to go to my gym or other gyms of which I know they don't have equipment, I want to support them, fine. But when you are going out and you are fighting on the license of the Ghana Boxing Authority, it's obligatory that you need to pay.
So let me put it this way. Of course, Dede is asking me this question. I think that would be better for him. I don't know how to explain it. It seems people are still confused. So let's use a typical example like Richard Comey. Is Richard Comey right to say that he will not pay, as it were, the money? And what is the difference between Richard Comey paying and Richard Comey not paying and Isaac Dobe paying? Can you explain or expatiate that? I think that will make.
Okay, let me explain simple. Even Richie Comey, because there was a point in time in Peter Zwene's administration, of which he was banned for some time, and this new administration were the people that lifted the ban on him. because he was banned for a long time, he was not even having license with the GBA for over about 5 years or so, between five and I don't know, about 5 years, about five, 3, 4. I'm not sure, but
Doesn't
since
matter. You proceed.
he fought in 2016
Mhm.
here in Ghana, and after 2016 there was issue. So about 5 or 6 years, about 4 or 5 years, he was not licensed by the Ghana Boxing Authority, and he's fighting out in the US, fighting on the license of the states that he fought. You know,
Mhm.
so the law or the rules of the Ghana Boxing Authority says that a boxer licensed by the Ghana, the underlining word here is licensed. A boxer licensed by the Ghana Boxing Authority,
Mhm.
fighting whether under the flag of Ghana or not, shall pay a percentage of his purse to the Ghana Boxing Authority.
Mhm.
So in this case, it does not apply to Richie Kombi. So in the first place, the GBA
What
shouldn't
about
have even
what about
asked.
that point in time when the ban was actually lifted and he was licensed under them?
When a ban is lifted, your
Mhm.
license is not given to you automatically. No,
So do
you
do
need to apply for you need to apply for a license yearly. Every year you need to renew your license. And so if for 5 years he has not been licensed for 5 years and you lift the ban, it's not automatic that his license has been restored. He has to come and pay for his license to apply for it.
okay. So
Today,
in this case, that means
today if you are licensee
Mhm.
and your license expire within the year and you don't renew your license, the GBA will not allow you to fight. They will tell you, okay, they can make arrangements with you. Maybe you have to pay before weighing day,
Okay.
before they will allow you to weigh. Or sometimes they can say, okay, because you are fighting, the promoter is depositing the purse with the GBA, so they will deduct your license fee and everything from it before your payment will be given to you. That
Okay. So
is another
this
situation. But the
Mhm.
guy was not licensed for over 5 years, and the ban was lifted on him. He didn't go to the GBA to renew his license, and so he's not licensed with the Ghana Boxing Authority. The ban was lifted.
Mhm.
That gives him the green light that he can have his license if he wish to have the license.
Okay. Now let me ask you this from Tete, and it's from Samuel Tete. He says that as a lesson.
Let me say this quickly. I'm not
Okay.
against boxers supporting the Ghana Boxing Authority if they fight, even if they fight in the Ghana in the US. I'm not against it, but it's not law if they are not fighting on the Ghana Boxing Authority's license when they are in the US. They are not obligatory to pay. But Dogbe has showed the lawyers for Ghana and he has paid. So I'm not against it at all, and I commend him for doing so. But we need to work. We need to do
So Doge
things in the
was not
premise of
under
the rules
any
and regulations.
obligation to have paid. He just paid. Is that not it? Anyway, I think that question has been well exhausted. We've done almost like almost 30 minutes on that question alone. So I will just move forward. And this is from Samuel Tete. He says, Asha Lesintiama for me. Does he think that the current boxing league is retarding promotions in Ghana? Okay, so I probably would have asked this as well myself, but now that he's asked, I think that it's in order. Um, do you are you part of those proponents that says that with the coming in of the Deluxe Professional Boxing League, promotions have hurt or it's virtually killing other promotional outfits from staging fights?
Okay, for me, I
I think I've lost Alex again. Okay, so we've done what? 1 hour 30 minutes. Ooh.
um,
Okay.
the questions are very simple. We are having uh, 6-round fights on the boxing league. That is what is being done. We've had boxing leagues before, and after the boxing league, what was the outcome of promotions? When we had the Martin Boxing League in elsewhere Moses Mo's time,
administration, yeah.
there were some aftermath or repercussions after that, because it took promoters out of business. And you know, if you can check from your end, athletic commissions or boxing commissions are not licensing media houses or broadcasters. They license promoters, and so that is the way to go. The whole thing is
Saying
this:
that
GBA
IMAX is a media house and not a promotional outfit. Or that was just an analogy to make a point.
Yes, you know, GBA announced that there has been a sponsorship from IMAS Media, 1.7 million sponsorship from IMAS Media. They didn't announce that IMAS Media has taken a license and they are going to promote boxing in Ghana. That will worth $1.7 million for a period of 5 years. But they say there is a sponsorship. So when there's sponsorship, there is a sponsorship coming to the GBA. The sponsorship must be shared fairly for all promoters and all stakeholders to be able to benefit from it. But till today, as I'm speaking with,
so ideally, the money should have been shared, right? We know
not to share
that
for people to put it into their pocket or to be giving the money. What I'm saying is, you know, we have a model that is being run because of the previous issue. You know, when you have history and you know how things happened some time back, it guides you into the future. So when we had this Martin Boxing League and all that stuff, and it's made promotions dull or got promoters out of business, there was another series called the Bukom Feast of Fury.
Yes.
That one, it was a sponsorship from the GMPC and ADB to the GBA. What the GBA did was that they sat with the promoters and they say, okay, we've gone to syndicate for sponsorship. So promoters should update and give us their cards so that we make sure the cards are good, that it can help the growth and development of boxing. So that was how it was done. And promoters also have liberty to get some extra sponsors to come on board, and so that they can go ahead with their promotions. But once the
Okay, there's a blip there, which happens with technology when you are, working with technology. We all know. But we'll try and get in Alex and Tiamwa pretty quick. I still have a lot of questions that I want to ask. I see that some people have said wanted to just want to say, do we have any big boxing match coming up soon? I do not think so. As and when we are privy to certain information regarding to Biba boxing, definitely we'll let you know, and that's by Sector Roses. So that's it for you, Sector Roses. There's this one, I don't know what he was trying to, whether he's trying to advertise his stuffs on this platform, but Ivan Susu kindly know that this is a boxing platform and we only entertain boxing issues here on this platform. There's this one who sent me something on Bukum Banku. I don't know whether he wanted to say something. Harry Analu, can you come again? Like I said, you can also join the platform by sharing your views right here on this platform. I have just about 5 minutes to wrap up. I'll still have a few people to want to ask left. Now, Alex, going straight to the point, is the boxing league killing other promotional outfits from coming out? Straightforward question for me, so that we can just proceed to our next question and we can make progress, because let's say that when you meet on occasions like this, time becomes our biggest enemy. I truly believe that. Already we've done what, 1 hour 35 minutes. So we'll try and get just short answers from our guest and wrap up and get out of the studio. Like I said, this is a series. We definitely will continue next week as well. We're trying to get to the very end, but because we know on Tuesday those stakeholders are going to meet, and of course they are going to Georgia, and then they will make sure the right things are followed procedurally in terms of what the Constitution stipulates as well. So we know for a fact that at least the stakeholders are talking. That's the most important thing, and they are going to meet and discuss matters or issues, which is very, very important to us. I'll still read some messages here. This one is saying that in as much as I agree with Alex Ntiamwa, I think that you can't approbate and approbate and reprobate. I think that's what he's trying to say. Okay, so you can't approbate and reprobate at the same time. In the time of the Martin Boxing League, the same thing cropped up, but the Boxing League is now being touted as one of the most successful boxing tournaments we've had. So I really don't understand his point. Title Stete, that's your message there. I'll read this one here, which is from Fred Nyama. And Fred Nyama is actually saying that, okay, so Alex is not answering your question. You ask him whether or not he thinks the boxing league is retarding and destroying promotions. And I'm not sure he's answered your question. Kindly ask him to answer yes or no. Okay, so Nyama, I agree with you. I think that he was laying the foundation to that particular question, as it were. But I'll continue reading some of this. This one is saying, okay, so great show, Sammy. I like your line of questioning. I want to ask Alex Ntiamwa, why are they against the boxing league? Because promotions can be held simultaneously, and this is not the first time we've had a boxing league. Okay, so that's a good question as well. This one is saying, well, it is good that at least the stakeholders are joining and they're going to meet on Tuesday. I hope that next week we can have the show again so that we'll know what happened. Of course, even if we don't have the same topic, definitely we'll I'm sure you check on boxingghana.com, you will actually find out with a write-up, whatever will ensue as regards to that. This one is saying, well, your guests today is not answering to my satisfaction. I've always liked Alex Ntiamwa and his submissions, but I think that per the things that he's alluding to, I am not really getting the understanding, especially when it comes to the percentage passes. I guess that's what Alex Ntiamwa was trying to say, is that when there is a caveat, even with the law, I mean, to every rule, there's an exception. When you're fighting in America, it's a bit different because Americans will not allow you to fight using Ghanaian license. The only time you're able to do that is probably when you're from Ghana and you're going there. Of course, in which case you have to get a license from the GBA. And as it's already stipulated, when a boxer is already licensed by the GBA, regardless of whether or not he's here or is in the United States, then he has to pay that money. So he's saying that when a boxer is not licensed to pay, then in that case, it doesn't come in, as it were. So that is what he's trying to say. I think it's pretty clear. It's a little bit tricky, but I think the point is clear. As in, you have to be licensed by the GBA in order for you to make any payment to that effect. You understand? If you're not part of the body, there's no way the GBA can take anything from you. The exception is in the USA. And he was talking about whether in an instances where a boxer has probably registered or licensed with the GBA, and the boxer travels to the USA, where the person will be paying that same amount of percentage pence to whichever authority that he's fighting. Because in the USA, definitely you have to fight with a different sanctioning body. Let's say Nevada Boxing Commission, whatever. You understand? So in that situation, that means the boxer will be what? Paying double per his purse. And he laid emphasis to the fact that some managers have their cuts, like 33, 32%. And if at the end of the day he did some mathematical equations here and there, as in some deductions, and at the end of the day, the boxer will be worse off. So I guess that point was well clear. I'll still continue to read. There are so many messages coming, like I said. We'll try and get Alex Ntiamwa next week so that we can talk more about this issue. There are a lot of questions to be exhausted. We've not done all, but time is fast spent. And I'm sorry I can't read some of the messages here, but I'm sure that at least we've been educated. The most important of all is that At least we know that stakeholders are going to meet on Tuesday and judge, so that we have a peaceful resolution going forward. Of course, matters of constitution must be followed, and I do agree to that because I'm a student of constitutionalism, and definitely I believe that procedures must be followed. So we'll see how that pans out as regards to the meeting that is scheduled to take place on Tuesday. My name has been Sammy Ofosuhene. Once again, many thanks for joining me. Of course, also many thanks to my co-host Daniel Debikote, who came in, did the analysis, and of course he had to bow out because of an emergency, as it were. So of course, many thanks to you, David, as well, and many thanks to the production team that helped me to show the show. Till I meet you same time next week. Like I say, a positive anything is better than a negative something. Do take care, and bye for now.